It's Phil Lindeman with your Krystal 93 News at Noon from Breck Roads. This weekend was the busiest of summer on I-70 by just 21 cars. 147,000 vehicles traveled through Summit Friday into Sunday. That beat the previous record from 2 weeks ago. We were busier than last weekend by close to 3,000 cars, busier than the same time last year by almost 8,000. Swan Mountain Road is closed right now in both directions between Prospector Campground and Sapphire Point. This middle stretch of Swan will remain closed completely until Friday. That includes overnight. Campers, you can still access campgrounds from the Breck side. On Dam Road near Frisco, underground piping is still sitting above ground as Comcast waits for paperwork. Comcast decided to install new piping for cable and conduits instead of using what is already there. Now the provider is waiting on final approvals to install the piping. Speaker of the House Julie McCluskie blames Republicans for poking a $1 billion hole in Colorado's budget. McCluskie and state lawmakers are back at the Capitol in Denver next week for an emergency session, hoping to fix what she calls a cruel new federal budget. For example, she says mountain health insurance costs could jump up by 38% next year. Food stamps are losing $170 million in Colorado alone. Our U.S. Representative Joe Neguse is suing the feds for denying immediate access to immigration detention centers. Summit Daily confirms Neguse has joined a dozen other Democrats in that lawsuit. They are fighting a new federal policy that demands a week's notice to visit detention centers. The U.S. just got a little bit safer in the past year. Latest FBI crimes report shows national rates for murder, assault, robbery, and rape were all down in the final year of Biden's term. Colorado, meanwhile, went the other way. Violent crime was up more than 3%, led by assault, kidnapping, and sex offenses. The global bourbon industry is busting. BBC reports bourbon sales are slipping in recent years after more than a decade of booming interest led by cocktail bars and bourbon collectors. Sales of Bulleit, they're down 7%, Wild Turkey's down 8%. Local fire danger, extreme again today in Summit County with a Stage 2 fire ban. Campfires and charcoal grills are outlawed in Summit and most points west along I-70. In sports, the Rockies lost to the Diamondbacks yesterday 13-6. Today, the Rockies are on the road for the Cardinals. And in local sports, from Cassandra Schultz and Associates with American Family in Dillon, smoke from the Lee fire shortened the race course at Run the Rockies in Frisco Saturday. Half marathoners ran a 10K instead. They were led by Franklin Riley of Edwards and Brooke Steinkoff of Breck. Winning the standard 10K were Mike Hagan and Mila Pfaff, both of Breck. Taking the 5K, Tuscan Glass of Fort Collins and Melanie McCauley of Breck. And Saturday in Leadville was the Leadville 100 mountain bike race, where riders still went on, even with the wildfire haze. Pro riders Keegan Swenson and Kate Courtney won the overall titles. It was Swenson's 5th title for the men. Courtney set a new women's course record. And then back in Leadville this coming weekend, it's the Leadville 100 Trail Run. Phil Lindeman, Krystal 93 News.